Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of your weekly dose of Terraform. My name is Anton Babenka, and it has been almost 2 months, I guess, since last time I made live streams. Uh, well, I guess many of you know what was the reason why I didn't do this before. The war in Ukraine is still happening. I don't live in Ukraine many years, but I still have a lot of friends, a lot of relatives who live there. So, well, I just cannot continue working like nothing is happening. And yeah, I want to say big thanks to everyone who supported me during this period. And yeah, you guys are amazing. It was really impressive for me to read all feedback, all messages from all around the world, from people who I have never met before and people who are new before. So it's really good to know that we are kind of together, even if we have not met each other pretty much never. So, nevertheless, I'd like to continue living as much as possible normal life, and I want to continue with all of my live streams, weekly TF newsletters, and other things which I was doing before the war started. I know that it will be a little bit difficult for me sometimes to continue that. So yeah, that's how it is. But by the way, do you hear me? Can you please write something in the chat? I know that you hear me because I hear myself. But anyway, that's good to know that there are some people watching, and let me know if you hear me well or not well, maybe not so loud. Yes, good. Loud and clear. That's good. Okay, cool. Okay, so what I'm gonna to do today, let's see. First, I need to move cup of coffee a little bit on the side because it has tendency to fall down. So let's look into this. So the topic which I had was about S3 buckets and AWS provider version 4 and more. So that's the main thing which I will be talking today. But uh, yes, Slava Ukraine, that's great, guys. So some people asked me recently, like, "Hey, we need to do something with, like, we need to have some help with Terraform or with AWS, or they ask for consultant fee." And instead of me asking them, like, "Hey, pay to my company," I always give link to some donation fund and let people to donate as much as they want, and well, this is how it works. I'm not gonna to follow you guys and see like, oh, did you pay or didn't pay. It's totally volunteer. But I think that if I helped you, then please help Ukraine, not me. So this is the link which I will be continue sharing with many of people who reach out to me. Weekly TF is another project which is continuing. Well, it was almost 1 month since last episode, so I continue publishing whatever I find interesting. If you have any interesting material, please let me know. I will be glad to add it to the next episodes. But overall, you can go to Weekly TF, put your email here, subscribe now, and enjoy every Wednesday I send it. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, the next episode will be in 2 weeks, not next Friday, but 29th, and I will be talking and I will be showing a lot of exciting stuff about Spacelift and show Spacelift in action. This is pretty much the topic. You will hear a little bit more detailed announcement probably next week. So that's it for now. So for the main part of today's episode, let me put this one on the screen. Kharkiv is a hero. People who were born in Kharkiv are heroes as well, even if they are living in Norway. Yeah, that's pretty much about myself. I am from Kharkiv, and Kharkiv is an amazing city. And yes, I live in Norway many, many years. It's kind of funny that many people think that I was in Ukraine when the war started because I was pretty public and I was writing a lot of posts on LinkedIn and talking to many companies and trying to block Russia. So far, it's happening quite nicely, I have to say. If you look on my tabs on the browser, here is one of my favorite, which is blocked user on GitHub. Believe me, I'm clicking this quite frequently. There are a lot of people in this block list. So if you say something bad about Ukraine or about pretty much anything what I disagree, you will be blocked immediately. Okay, maybe not so much disagree, but if you say something bad about Ukraine or you support Russia, you will be added to this list indefinitely. So have fun. Okay, let's let's don't make people panic immediately. Let's do something, right? So what I wanted to do before the war started, well, AWS announced, not AWS, sorry, but HashiCorp published Terraform AWS provider version 4. All right, let me go to this guy. Yeah, so version 3, no, that's not. So version 4 was, let me scroll, it's pretty long changelog, but version 4 here was like, oh my god, version 4, lots of breaking changes. And many of these breaking changes were quite simple, where you have to just see what has changed and change your code accordingly. Not really rocket science by any means, so many people didn't have issues with many resources. While there was one peculiar resource, which is AWS S3 bucket. The upgrade path for this resource was, I would say, rather illogical in a way that there was, or maybe I can just show it here. I don't know if this link is still here. Yeah, it is still here. So there was an issue saying like upcoming changes in version 4, and this issue was published August 2021. And I was looking into this issue and I was like, oh yeah, cool, lots of things gonna to happen, lots of refactoring. And like I didn't follow it so much, so closely, because, well, there are thousands of issues like this. And I was like, oh yeah, cool, it's gonna to happen. I even put some emoji here because I was happy that this refactoring is happening. And then one day, or specifically, which day was it? Yeah, so then, and then, let's see, and then February 10, HashiCorp decided to release this breaking change. And all of a sudden, this release became incompatible. So what it means is that the resource was working fine in version 3.0, and then it didn't start raising any deprecation warning or any kind of warning. It just stopped working. And for people to continue using this resource and version 4 provider, they have to change code, which means that code will be either working with version 3 or with version 4. So there is no step in between. And that's where the challenge started. Obviously, many people use resource as is. Not many people use it as a module, as I made Terraform AWS S3 module, which I will be showing later. They use resource. And there are a lot of different parameters which we can put into it. So, for example, you can specify a bunch of different arguments for versioning, for login, for life cycles, for replication, and many other things, for encryption policies. So lots of these things. And all of a sudden it just stopped working. So and the solution for this was to use this resource and use other sub resources. Well, where is it even now? Huh? I'm lost again. But okay, I will try to to find the way around it. Uh, yes. Okay, so what it means is that when you start using version 4 provider, there is no way for you to use version 3 because things are just there is no middle ground between. So what I did was I looked into the module. Let me see, it's somewhere here. So I looked into the source code of the module, which I had before, and I started rewriting it. Maybe I can, yeah, I probably can just look into source code and kind of explain. So there was this resource inside of my module configuration code, but it was much bigger. So what I did essentially is that I followed the upgrade guide and I split it into several resources and I did refactoring. So now instead of one big S3 bucket module, there are a lot of smaller resources like S3 bucket login and so on. Well, that's what I did pretty much before the war started. About 23rd of February it was done, and I was quite happy. Then I didn't do any work for a long time, and then I came back and there were quite interesting discussion going on. So that's another kind of part of the story, which I think is quite relevant. So there was long discussion, 70 comments by people who said like, oh, this is far not obvious. And there were several proposals like, hey, let's make a tool which is gonna to happen. If you know this guy, he's crazy in a way that he's writing a lot of cool tools for Terraform. So that's my definition of craziness. And well, we can have a tool which helps us with configuration migration, or we can have deprecated warnings inside of this provider, and then it will be removed in version 5, which is quite nice, right? Or what if we backport all of new resources back into previous provider so that we have some sort of migration path? And well, this was discussed back and forth with lots of different points by different people. Overall, it was well, where was it? Yeah, what I was right. So overall, it was like at some point, hey, we're gonna to add this 490, where, like, imagine that you start using version 4 provider, right? You spend some time, rewrite code, and you do something there, and then you say like, okay, I'm done. That's pretty much my story. And then version 4.1 happened. There were some bug fixes. I was happy, I applied them. Then 4.2, another set of bug fixes, and I fixed something there in my module, and I was happy. Great. So there was nothing so bad inside of there are no breaking changes, there are just improvements, and I was happy with this one. And then again some improvements in 4.3, again in 4.3, then 4.5 also has some improvements, which is totally normal path, right? We have some improvements and we go further and further, and we do continuous improvement. All of these issues, or maybe not all, but most of these features are very important, and I hit them when I was working on the modules because something was not working, and then I see, oh, somebody already opened issue about it and it was fixed. So it was quite cool to see that things are moving forward in the right direction. And from 4.9, then something again, 4.9 happens, and that's where the miracle happens. In 4.9, I didn't try this myself, to be honest, because I just didn't have possibility, but that's exactly where the thing is. Resources, or not resources, properties which were previously handled by separate resources are now optional. So essentially what it means is that everything what I was doing with the migration to work with 4.x provider is not needed anymore, because people can still continue using the same S3 bucket. It will just become optional, and there will be some warnings or some potential conflicts, but essentially they can continue use the same resources as before, which is a little bit surprising to me, because, well, you added a lot of functionality, and then suddenly you say like, oh no, by the way, we just reverted back, and you have pretty much everything what you've been doing for 2 months is now optional, which is a little bit surprising. But as for module user, I have to say that module is completely that's a thing, that wasted months of work is not really wasted. It means that the way it is now will allow people to continue using their stuff, and they have some sort of migration path. But the whole period since February, when 4.0 was released, and 4.9, where things became properly implemented, this was a time of big frustration for many users, because they started migrating, they had a lot of issues in it, and that's where a lot of time was wasted. What I'm saying is that the way I wrote module now will be working with 4 point something and forever, like from 4.0 and until 4.99. I mean, everything what is lower than 5. And it can actually work in 5 as well, because there are no deprecated warnings as far as I say. So I think it's just a wrong implementation that 2 months of life of pretty much everyone were wasted. And that's another point which I want to make, is that when people are implementing such complicated resources like S3 bucket themselves, then they have to do all of this magic. They have to understand how all of these things are working and why they're working this way. And well, I still have a lot of questions about what I see right now. But the point is that when you are writing resource code like this, it's up to you to figure out all of these peculiarities, parameters, and so on. If you're using module, then it's job of module developer to prepare all of this for you and to think about different edge cases. So let me kind of reveal my main concern, which I have not noted before I started recording this live stream. And my main concern is why there are no new resources in this list. No, that's okay. I'm looking into someone else. Whew. It was someone else. Well, that's how search works. If you write S3 here, good luck that you find the right one. I apparently click on someone on this one. Yeah, but I used to click on this one. Oh my god. So yeah. Whew. Okay. That's good. That's good. There are a lot of other resources which I need to have. Right. Okay. Whew. That's good. So then we can go to this documentation for S3 bucket and see amount of nodes and warnings examples, again, notes, a lot of different things is here. Plus optional and deprecated. Optional, but not deprecated. So, as I said, I took pretty much all of this line by line, argument by argument, and I made an update inside of module, which I want to show to you. First of all, I want to show how it works right away, and then I want to show maybe how to upgrade from previous version of the module or any other bucket and see how it works. Yeah, it is a bit crazy. Some of this documentation was so confusing to me that I used to go to API documentation by AWS because it seemed to me a little bit more obvious, but it didn't help so much in some cases. Anyway, let's see. Let's show some code. Okay, here is my code, and here is the source code of this S3 bucket module. Make sure that I fetch the latest one. It's latest. Okay, so what I want to show here. Well, first of all, yes, there is small resource like I have here, and a lot of other resources which control independent features of it, like login or ACL or some other properties. So without further ado, let's go to complete example and try to run. Well, that's actually quite funny. Now, what kind of use cases there should be? 4.10 I did not even have before, so it will download it for the first time. So what kind of versions should we think about now? Well, Terraform version is still the same. I mean, we don't need anything new than the 0.13, honestly. But when it comes to these new resources, well, they became available inside of 3.75. So these resources like S3 bucket login and this one became available in 3.75. Then there were some changes inside of version 4.1. There were some improvements to 3.8. So this is where I was developing, and I looked into each of these, and I really recommend to use as latest version as possible in your project. But technically, this is the smallest requirement. Yes, it will work, but it will contain a lot of bugs, which are fixed in latest version of provider. And then version 4.9 was released, and this 4.9 essentially is similar to 3.75, right? Yeah, 3.75. No, I think it's even 3.70, same as 3.74. Where in this resource it's just one big resource, and in this one it was also one big resource. So then the next episode, well, everything from 4.9 and until 5, no, okay, 5 is too optimistic, so let's put it 4 and 999. This is where the behavior will be similar as in version 3. So, well, in theory, it should be similar, but that's another thing. If there will be new bug fixes, they will happen only in latest version of provider. I think I read it somewhere So it will be 4.9, 4.10, 4.11, and so on, even if technically it is the same resource as it was before. So put it simpler, this is minimum version which is required for this module to work, but as later a version as you have is better. Okay, so now let's look into this complete example. We download 4.10. So what I want to show is that it works in 4.10. I'm actually not sure if it will work. And I want to verify that it works in 4.7 because I want to check this range. Or 4.8, I guess. Yeah, I guess 4.8 is fine too. Right. So 4.8 is another example. So let's see. In example, here I have the same constraint, but it doesn't really matter here. Okay, so now let's run. I'm not sure that it will work, honestly. It worked when I wrote it, but then I read this news about 4.9 and I was like, oh my god, why it's all happening? Argument is deprecated. Why? Okay, but at least it's one argument. Uh, mm, hmm. Well, it was not like this before. But anyway, this is a small thing to fix. Anyway, let's run it and let's see that it will work. Maybe it will not work. I have no clue. Well, if it will work, I can explain how it worked. So far, so good, so I can probably start explaining how it was working. Well, the point of complete example is that there are a lot of features implemented in one example, and that's pretty much it. So inside of S3 bucket module, there are many different arguments specified, and these arguments are very similar. Like in most cases, 90% of them are identical the way they were written before, and that's pretty much the point. That when users are using this module, again, it's job of module developer to object log configuration. Yeah, right. Okay, that's unfortunate, but it's easy to fix. I will fix it now. So what I mean is that when module is being used by someone, they think about different arguments they can specify here. And when this, let's see, yeah, and when these arguments are already in place, the only thing which people will have to change is essentially specify version, and then they can write 3.0. This means that they will use later version, or previously it was 2.0. So that's pretty much it. Since I'm using local reference here, I don't have to specify version, and I don't have to run init or anything like that. Well, fixing this issue is probably not the best time spending, so let's just destroy it. Let's revert it back to previous version of provider, which I was using before. So let's just keep it for history 375. And which one I need? I need 480. I like the way it works, really fast. Deletion works fast. Okay, so if I run this init now, I just want to make sure that I'm using version 480. That's similar to what I was using before. I used something like 4.5, I guess. But at least in 4.0, I don't have this deprecation warning. So they obviously added something during the last 2 weeks, and it should be quite simple to go through changelog and figure out the solution. Let's see if it works for 4.0. If it works, then probably I will just stick with 4.0 for now and figure out the solution for object lock. Few people asked in comments whether there will be other resources where such split is going to be performed, and some people said like, no, we don't like this split. I don't understand why. I honestly like this split because then I can combine resources the way I want it, and well, it's just much simpler for me as a user to use it. Again, I'm thinking about object lock configuration. Something is not working here either, but at least no deprecation warning. So let's go to version 4.5. Maybe it will work there. Let's see. Inconsistency. Well, that's inconsistency dependency lock. Let's delete it and let's revert it to 4 point something. So 4.8 is again too optimistic. 4.4. No, 4.4 I didn't have because it's just downloaded from registry, so maybe not the best example, but still, it should be working at some point. So yes. And let's see, what kind of error message was it before? No, delete. I got so many. Okay, here is it. Object lock configuration cannot be enabled on. Okay, so this is, I can show how I usually fix this kind of issues. So first of all, go to changelog and search for this resource name, resource type. Doesn't work here either. That's quite strange. Maybe I wrote very bad example. But okay, let's go to this thing and search for example. So this is in version 4.9 and this is for 4.3. That's it. This is version 4. So please refer bucket object lock configuration. Strange. Let's see what I have in the code. It should work because I execute this example many times. Well, I use IntelliJ IDEA still, as I have been saying for some time. Right, so this guy, this was probably changed. No, this was not changed recently. There was some changes which we added. Maybe we added it a little bit too quick. It was here, it was 2 weeks ago. Object lock configuration. Object lock configuration cannot be enabled. Here is it. Object lock configuration, this is it. Okay. Well, object lock configuration can only be enabled on new resources. That's true. That's why I have it like this. I wonder where I'm missing this. So this resource, rule default retention, rule default retention, not equal null. Right, so that's why we need to do this one. No. Слава Україні, Simon. Okay. Well, yeah, it's too boring to fix right now. Let's just get rid of this line from here, and I will fix it at some point later. So I guess it is related to the fix which was added 2 weeks ago, related to ignore changes, because that's the only thing which was added 2 weeks ago, and I didn't run examples before that or after that. Okay, so what we have here, we have just created, using this version, we can quite safely, I would assume, use the latest version of provider, and other than new deprecated warning, we should not see anything else. I use ultimate version. I guess I use ultimate version. Let me see. Yeah, I use ultimate version, which is licensed to Terraform AWS modules for open source development. So that's if you have open source projects, you can reach out to JetBrains and tell them that, hey guys, I like your stuff and I do some open source development. Okay, so this new deprecated warning is kind of related to the problem. So anyway, I'll fix it later. For the time being, let's look into what can be done or what should be done to migrate between different versions. So I have made an upgrade guide where I explained what commands should be run. Let me show it nicely like this one. So there are a few backward incompatible changes, like literally new resources which I use were added inside of 375, and this upgrade guide official is quite nice if you're using resource. It's quite irrelevant if you're using module. That's why you have this document. And no stuff added. Some things were added, but nothing was really removed. So just to make it really as compatible as possible. And here is an upgrade migration. So what I want to show is pretty much the flow when I had module like this, which was using latest version. Yeah, anything lower than 375, like this expression means 369.1.2.3 and so on. So the only digit which is increasing is this one. And the new code where I use is version 3, and that's pretty much it. So once you have this code before with this provider, then you change the version and provider, and you run init command to download a new AWS provider which matches this requirement, and then you import some resources. So what exactly to import? That's a little bit complicated to explain what kind of resources should be imported. So let's see how I can do this. Right. Let's think about this. First, I need to drop this example because, well, it's not relevant anymore. And then I will look into complete legacy example, which I copied from before. So this is previous generation of a module. So this example, complete and complete legacy, they are rather similar. The main difference here is this log bucket and S3 bucket. They have pin version 2.0, which is previous one. So let's see which one I can. Right, I need to change this bucket name to make sure that it's actually reproducible. So let's call it S3 bucket. No, old is not old. S3 bucket. I don't know, Anton. I'm very creative with names, believe me. KMS key. Should I do something with KMS key? I mean, KMS key will be used in encryption here in this example and in that example, so it has to be rather similar. But okay, let's keep it like this for now. So this is the name of the bucket. Okay, so now let's go to complete legacy example, run Terraform init. So what's going to happen is that it will install this 369 provider. And if I run apply now, it should create a bucket, or not one bucket, but 2 or 3 buckets, as I specified here. One is for log bucket and another for S3 bucket. So these two different modules. And as you can see, it's using resource AWS S3 bucket, which has a lot of arguments in it. So that's an old way of having things. So let's imagine that this was the case before. You guys made this bucket long time ago using bucket already exists. You see, somebody was so creative. So let's put 37. It's my favorite number. And by the way, 37 is a number of HashiCast episode where which was published a couple days ago. I was surprised to see that it's my favorite number there. Anyway, so 37, edit, S3 bucket, creating. What is funny is that this kind of bucket was taken, but one of my favorite bucket, which is called fixtures, is owned by me. So I don't know how it's possible, but so that's a place where I store some public fixtures for some Terraform modules. Okay, so S3 bucket Anton 37 has been created. Assigned from universe. Yes. I didn't believe when it was first created. I was like, wow, how it's even possible. So now I'm obviously not going to delete it. It will be there forever. Okay, so this is it, right? So legacy example, use version 2, and it was created, and that's cool. So now let's look into newest example. So complete folder. Here I have the same bucket name, and from now on I'm not gonna do anything inside of complete legacy because that's what I had before. Imagine I put thousands of files there in it. It's really crazy. I don't want to change anything there. So what I need to do now, I go to complete and I run again Terraform init upgrade just to make sure which version I use. Latest version 4.10. That's it. So now I run Terraform apply. I mean, of course, some people say like, oh, never run Terraform apply. Well, I run Terraform apply and then put like this if I want to change my mind and emulate Terraform plan. So that's what's going to happen now. Terraform doesn't know anything about previous Terraform state file before, so Terraform tries to create these new resources, right? It's trying to create, where is this bucket? It's a little bit more complicated now because there are so many things in it. Okay, so it's trying to create S3 bucket somewhere, maybe here. No, this is, yeah, here it should be. Yeah, this S3 bucket with some bucket name, but apparently this bucket name has already been registered, so it's not gonna to work. So and that's where the magic started. I see that 23 resources want to be created. That's not acceptable. And I look into upgrade guide and I see what I have to see. So the first thing which I see here, let me just scroll one more time just to make sure that I see it here. No. All right, okay, this is the name of it. So I have put this code already and this code. Now it says after the code is updated and you run Terraform init upgrade, then import S3 bucket ACL using such command. So bucket ACL is slightly different than other things because the way it has to be imported is like this command and then bucket name, which was let me see it somewhere here, this one, and then after comma you need to put ACL name itself. It's not like this without ACL. So I need to look into what kind of ACL was it here and what kind of ACL was it here. It was private. So I need to put it like this. So if I run this command now, what's going to happen is that Terraform will read information about this bucket, ACL, and it will put it inside of Terraform state file. If I look into Terraform state file, I can see that now there is one resources being added into it. And you can see that ID is the one which I specified. And that's pretty much the whole process for managing this specific resource S3 bucket ACL. So if I run apply now, previously it was 23 resource to add. Now it should be 22 or maybe 23, but one to destroy, which means I did something wrong. What exactly has to be destroyed? I forgot to put expected bucket owner. This is another feature. I don't know if I documented it here. Yes, it is. It is here. It is account ID. This is it. Okay. Account ID is this one. So for me, let me just go to documentation. It's quite easy to find it in the documentation. Right, so the order should be like this. Because I specified expected bucket owner inside of my configurations, I need to put bucket name, comma separated, expected bucket owner. As I understand, it is like second security measure to make sure that you import only the right bucket, just to prevent people from surprises and managing wrong buckets. So I need to go to the code, and I need to change it. So import like this. Will it work? I don't know. Probably yes, resource already managed. So when you have these surprises, what you can do, what you can do is 20 things, but what you should be doing is you tell Terraform to forget about it by running Terraform state rm, like remove this resource. So which means that Terraform should remove this ID from its state file. You run it, and now you see that there is nothing else. Boo. So one more time, if you run this command again, it will be able to successfully import it. And now if you run apply, there should be, it was 23 to add, 1 to destroy. Now it should be, again, it shouldn't be like this. Let's look what I forgot to do now. Bucket, S3 bucket. Hmm. Supposed to work. But ACL is really special thing. What else? Maybe I need to import. Right, I probably need to import the main resource as well, because there is no main resource. Probably, yeah. Well, let's see. It's a little bit different every time, but it's still not the most complicated part. So I want to import this bucket. So the resource is called S3 bucket. This bridge paired import, and nothing is here. Why? No, it's here. It just didn't load properly. So if I run apply now, so the point is that if you run all of these commands, right? Okay, now it works well, because I used to import the main resource first. Yeah, I'm a little bit stupid here. Okay, I have proper explanation for why I have to do this. It's because I changed directory completely. So I completely disregard previous Terraform state file. That's why in previous Terraform state file, there was already this resource somewhere, S3 bucket. Right. Yeah, there was already this resource. But in the new one, there was nothing, so that's why I need to import it as well. Okay, but it still says want to change. In some cases it's okay, but in some cases you need to look carefully what exactly has to change. Let's see, yeah, good luck to figure out which place you need to change. Want to change. I have no clue which one to change. Anyway, let's continue with this process, and it will be less resources here, and there will be much easier things to look into. So if I continue running this guy now and I import, no, if I import resource which is second here, it's called login. So I need to S3 bucket login g and run it. So now if I run it, there should be not 21 but a little bit less. So 20 and 2 to change. It's okay. Let's keep going. Let's import something else. Let's import another resource. So as you can see, it is quite easier to automate, because this is the list of commands you need to run where you have 3 parameters: bucket name, ACL, and account ID. And if you have, even if you have thousands of buckets, you can do this quite easily. There are no specific challenges, I would say. So website configuration, and I need to specify expected bucket account, of course, and what else is here? Versioning. Also, as I can see, it's waiting for account ID, so which is good. And this one is way too long to type. Okay. So yeah, so what else I can do? I run apply. There should be like 19 or 11 things to add. No, 17. And 4 to change. Let's look into what exactly has to be changed. Right, yes, exactly. So the reason why there is this change rule is because KMS key, which I created previously, is not known for Terraform right now. So that's why it will first try to create new key and then it will use it. If I want to prevent this one, I just need to import KMS key from that state into this new state. That's pretty much it. And what else has to be changed? Will be updated in place. Right, okay, that's because force destroy was not specified before, but now it is specified. So if I want, I can just change it inside of my main configuration for this, and it will not tell this as a difference. And what else? Yeah, just have a lot of different things here. That's why it looks a little bit messy. If it is fewer things, then it's quite simple to work with. And again, it is possible to automate it. One way how this can be automated, as I said, you have to run small shell script where you run these commands sequentially. Let me look into this hook, which long time ago saved me, I don't know, half hour maybe. Yeah, so when you run Terraform import and you know that you are working alone and you need to import thousands of resources, you just specify log false. It will be, I don't know, 1 second quicker. Now let's try this. Let's try this now. Let's import request payment configuration. Don't ask me what is it, really. But there is such feature in S3 bucket. So Terraform import And here I specify log equal false. And of course I need to time it, otherwise you will not believe me that it's so amazing fast. So amazing fast, I said. So almost 3 seconds. Well, it was not so amazing fast. Anyway, maybe I can do some other improvement. Ignore remote version. A rare option. Well, yeah, it is really. Right, so it was almost 3 seconds. If I do this for another resource, well, what other resources is fun? Lifecycle configuration. Oh yeah, that's a crazy one. So lifecycle configuration is one of these parameters which has been changing. I think that was fast. Oh yeah, thanks. That's let's try without it. So lifecycle configuration. Let's time it as well, just for fun. Yeah, it does some refresh. I guess you can stop it from doing something else. 13 seconds. Come on. No, it was not 30 seconds. Magic. Anyway, if I now run this, what I wanted to run, if I now run Terraform apply. Anyway, what I wanted to show is that when you need to do a lot of things, there are a few workarounds. If you need to import even thousands of parameters, you can do some manipulation with Terraform state file and then run refresh one time. You can do a lot of improvements which are even not documented in some places. So, no, not yes, what is it? Well, anyway, 15 to add and 5 to change. So I think you get the point that if you continue running all of these commands the way it is specified, and if you will be able to reuse Terraform state file from your previous execution, it will be a very straightforward process. And yeah, I will fix this argument is deprecated for this resource. It should be fine. Oh yeah, here is a question. Oh, actually, that's good that people are asking questions. So, slightly out of topic, I tried executing a Fargate task definition by hoping to set up a crowd job, maybe cron job. But I couldn't see from the modules example that relates to my needs. Executing Fargate task definition. I hope. Well, I guess you are asking how to set up what is it? CloudWatch. CloudWatch. What CloudWatch? I mean, cron jobs in CloudWatch. What's it even called? Let me see. I have example for it. Yeah, cron expression. Let me see where I have it. I have it in some modules, but maybe not in step function. CloudWatch upsync. No. Event bridge. I guess we have it in. I mean, event bridge here and here. Yeah, ECS scheduling. And here and here is expression. Right. Okay. So that's pretty much the answer to your question, I guess. Mind. Yeah. So okay, event bridge. So that's exactly where I found it. So we have module where we show, I mean, we manage a bunch of things for Event Bridge. And if I look into README and I look into cron, maybe not cron, it's called schedule somewhere here. Yes, here. Event Bridge with lambda target. Well, the same thing is for triggering Fargate task as for lambda. Here is an example inside of it. How can I? Okay, so here is a explanation or clarification. How can I set up it to occur every day? So it launch a Fargate task definition. Yeah, here is an example. Let me walk through this one. Here is README, which says pretty much what you need. So in this example, we are looking for, let's start from the bottom, ECS. So it is creating some ECS cluster. It's creating ECS service, ECS task definition. So that's what you have already created somewhere, somehow. And this module is taking care of configuring event bridge, like default event bridge, because default is still a little bit more powerful than custom event bridge. So that's why we're not creating it, but we are creating a role and attach ECS policy, which will allow this, which will allow to execute this or to do something with these ECS targets, including your task definition, which you have created. So then you have to configure event bridge rules to do something you want. So the way how it is written now, it says wait 5 minutes. I think you can write something like cron and then write cron job expression, which is like 000. I don't remember sequence, 11, 59. I don't know, something like this, which will mean that every day of every month at 11:59 it will trigger, and it has to be enabled true. And what exactly will have to be triggered is configured in targets, where you specify what kind of ECS target. It's task, count 1, network configuration. So you configure pretty much 3 things. One is role, second is what kind of rules and when they have to be triggered, and third is what kind of targets should be managed by this event bridge. You can find all of this in event bridge. Yeah, if you go to Terraform AWS modules and search for event bridge, you will find it. Or you can go to registry and find this module there. Here is it, schedule expression, yes. Run something every day at 10:00. Well, it gave index error. It depends what kind of code you write. And this is really important to understand, is that if it gives you index error, we usually have zero possibility to help you unless you show exactly what kind of code you have, what kind of arguments. And usually when you are collecting this information, you will be able to find the problem yourself. So that's a way of if you want other people to help you, help yourself first. LOL. Okay, well, I think that's pretty much it for today. I wanted to show how to do things with S3 bucket module. There is an upgrade guide which you can look into. Let me just revert it back. This upgrade guide, which you can just follow, and it works as I just showed. And yeah, that's it. I also had some ideas to work on today, but I didn't have time. So see you next time, and thanks everyone for watching. And as usual, stay in touch and remember to support Ukraine in any ways possible. For example, Polyanica, Com.ua. Yeah, you can practice by saying this word if you want. If you are not from Ukraine, it is one of these words which is tricky to say. So good luck saying it. Okay, see you. Bye. Bye, Aaron. Bye, everyone.